Are you looking for a podcast that is the perfect blend of paranormal and pop culture?
Starting off with spooky stuff where we talk cryptids and ghosts.
And then we have our pop culture section where we sometimes have celebrity guests.
Whoa.
Yeah, do you want more?
Boy, howdy.
There's always genre news and all kinds of celebrity deaths. All kinds of it. If you're a celebrity and you die, we're going to talk about it.
I actually was hoping for UFOs.
Well, bet your ass we got that too at the end.
Earthling Entertainment. New episodes every Thursday.
Make sure to check us out anywhere you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Serena.
And I'm Rachel.
We're the hosts of Book Tales.
If you like reading books
Drinking cocktails,
and Scottish accents,
then meet your new favourite podcast.
come with us as we explore different themes from romantasy to horror and everything in between.
We pair each book with a bespoke cocktail and tell you everything you'll need to make one.
And each week, play our fun game tailored to each book.
Find Book Tales wherever you get your podcasts. So grab your book,
Grab your booze
for Book Tales.
Hi guys, I'm Bri.
And I'm Alli. This is Offscript.
If you think about it, books are potential scripts for movies.
When this adaptation happens, typically it's disappointing because they went off script.
In this series, we will be talking about how off script they went.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Sorry.
And welcome.
That
No,
was
you're
really
fine.
loud.
Hello, everybody.
Listen to me. It's the last episode of the season. We need to be excited. Oh, goodness
That's actually
gracious.
crazy.
I know, right? I'm like, what is that?
I think I'm more shocked that there's a chance that we could get really far ahead.
I know. I'm hoping. I'm done with the first episode. Well, first reading of it. So
Nice.
I finished
First
reading
book.
It, and I'm done with the first episode of
Yeah.
the first book.
Oh,
yes.
there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm done with it, and I've watched 4 episodes. So I have
Okay.
4 episodes left.
Cool.
And then I'm halfway through the second book,
Okay.
and I also finished Conclave, the book.
Nice.
I need to watch
Okay.
the movie. Mhm.
Perfect. Look at us go.
So what made me really excited is that season 2 of his Dark Materials is only 7 episodes long.
Oh, nice. I know. I was
Mhm. So
trying
it
to
goes-
decide on the plane if I want to bust through reading or I want to bust
Watch
through
it.
watching or sleep because it's a red eye.
Oh, probably sleep.
I know, probably. We'll see what happens because I'm motivated now.
Well, I
always get
also,
motivated in new seasons.
for
I'm
me,
like,
it's I'm enjoying this series. I was nervous because I had seen the TV show
uh-huh.
and loved the TV show, so I thought reading it was going to be rough,
yeah,
or not rough, but you know how it is when you've watched it first and then you read it.
yeah.
But sneak peek, that has not been the case. I've been just eating it up.
Oh,
I've
good,
been like,
good.
Yes, give it to me. Although I
Yes.
did tell you that you could probably let your kids read and watch this, and then I
Mhm.
got to the end part and I was like,
Yeah,
probably not.
yeah. We did not. I did not. Yeah, I got to the end and I was like, oh my. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm imagining violence also.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is this is a kid's book, but I think
Right,
it's
right.
a like middle school level kids book.
Yeah.
Not
I mean, it's not anything that
if we
haven't
were
seen
doing the
with
Nicole
superheroes,
Kidman
I'm sure,
movie.
but
Yeah.
other than the
Yeah.
eating his tongue part.
What the fuck?
What the bear?
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought you were talking about Azrael, and I was like, that did not ever happen. What?
What book did I read?
That's hilarious. That's
There
hilarious.
y'all go. You got a sneak
Yeah.
peek of season 9.
Mm-hmm. You don't really know exactly what we're talking. Oh wait, yeah,
I
I
know.
did say I
No,
said
you
the title of
did.
the show.
Shoot, I was doing real good not saying it. Way to go.
I know, my bad. My bad.
Okay, everybody. Well, I don't think I said that I'm Allie.
And I have not said that I am Bri.
And today we have for you our season finale episode minus our recap, which we saved fried green tomatoes for y'all. Sorry, I'm readjusting so I can... What?
Your recap, which we saved fried green tomatoes for you?
No, other than your recap. This is our final episode other than the recap. So for our final episode, we saved fried green tomatoes for you.
There we go. I am fracking. It's been one of those fucking weeks already.
No, I might have said it weird too. I was like in the middle of like repositioning because I have our video like shrunk on my main screen because that's where my notes are. Otherwise, I would like not be looking at it this way. It looks somewhat like I'm looking at you. So I was repositioned.
Oh, it's fine. I'm about to be I got card sleeves for my Arkham Horror game and I'm just too excited. So I'm about to be sleeving stuff while we do this too.
Multitasking. That's how your professional podcasters go.
That's the only way to get shit done in our life.
Yep. Oh gosh. Alrighty. Well, today, as I said, fried green tomatoes for you. Let's see what it's all about. Evelyn,
this is like a super freaking popular. Like I feel like anyone
I talk about says, "Oh my gosh, I love that movie."
I was just gonna say, I was like, I don't think it's any. I was gonna say anyone who grew up in the 90s, but it's not really anyone who grew up in the 90s. I think it's like people who are in their formative years in the 90s love this movie.
Probably. So Evelyn, an ordinary housewife, visits a nursing home and befriends this old lady, Ninny. Together, they bond over stories from the past about two intrepid. Sure.
Intrepid. Come on, Allie. Intrepid.
Oh gosh, you guys. Women of Whistle
starting out strong.
Yep. That's how we do. Our author is Fannie Flagg, director Jon Avnet, screenplay writer Fannie Flagg. Oh.
Isn't that Avnet?
Avnet. I didn't add letters that time. I just made them sound different.
You dyslexicked it.
Avnet. No,
Avnet.
I didn't include the E sound.
Oh.
Avnet.
Yeah. Avnet.
Okay. Avnet. I don't know.
Yeah.
And our screenplay writer is Fannie. Fanny's
Franny.
worse than Franny.
Franny.
Fannie Flagg and Carol Sobieski. Okay,
Yeah,
author wrote the screenplay.
That one.
Okay, that's interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Okay.
Book came out January 1st, 1987. Movie came out December 27th, 1991. That's 4 years. Wow. All right.
Okay.
So what did we do first?
I watched it when I was a kid. So I almost felt like I only remembered bits and pieces. And I probably should have watched it before I read it again. But
I read it first. Did I? Yes.
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 Yes, you did.
Okay. Yes.
Did you?
Did
No.
I? No.
Son, I read
No.
it first.
Yeah, I watched it first. Didn't I? Let's look at
I thought you did.
I'm pretty sure I watched it first. Because as I was reading it, I was remembering
Parts of the movie.
And I had never watched it before.
Well, we might have fucked that up, but hey, it's
Well,
fine.
Let's see
what I put. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I watched it as a child and I don't remember it. So reading it, I felt like I hadn't. Yeah, there were like a few scenes where I was like, oh, I kind of remember that.
Let me see.
But not much. But what's funny is I told you this and you said, well, I hope you watched it first because you said you watched it first. I was like, well, shit, I know I've seen it.
Oh.
Do I remember it? No. But I was confused because I thought we made you. I don't fucking know.
Maybe I messed it up. Let's see. No, it says I did movie first and you did book first.
Well, like I said, it doesn't feel like I remembered the movie before reading it.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, that's probably exactly why.
That's funny. Well, all right then. Cool. That's how it happened. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are our thoughts?
I hated how in the book I'm reading, and the first chapter says, and she went on trial for murder and then didn't talk about the murder for the rest of the fucking book. I was like, oh, I'm into this. And then I very quickly was like, I'm not into this.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I just missed something. Like, with how much everyone loves it, I feel like I'm confused as to why.
I think what everyone loves is that it was very progressive for its time in the fact that, what are their names? Ruth and
Idgie.
The fact that they are definitely a couple.
Okay, but gotta talk to you about this.
Yeah.
We went to, when I was in Florida last time, we went to a little restaurant and they had fried green tomatoes. So Megan bought some. And I tried some. I don't like tomatoes, so it was not good. But
I was going to say,
had
that sounds disgusting.
I had to say I tried them because I knew we were doing this podcast. But anyways, so my mother-in-law's there and she loves, this is like her favorite movie, right? And so I said, in the movie, are they a couple? And she's like, no, they're just like best friends. And I was like, that's how it seemed to me when I watched it. I was like, it seems like Idgie likes Ruth, but it didn't ever seem like
Ruth
the way
Idgie.
it was. Are you finishing my sentence or are you correcting me?
No, I was finishing your sentence.
Okay. I was like, oh shoot, did I get the names wrong? Yeah, it didn't ever feel like it did in the book where it was very obvious. Like, I mean, like said it over and over and over again. But Megan, who also loves this, she had brought up, she was like, oh, I could totally see that that's how it was supposed to be. Like, so it wasn't flat out.
I was going to say, I think for the time the movie was made, they couldn't be flat out with it.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not what made people like it.
I guess so. But I was like, all right. So, who knows? Maybe it's just because it's Kathy Bates and everybody loves Kathy Bates.
She has so much better roles. Everyone go watch what's that one? Misery? Yeah. Yeah. What's that one? One of my favorite Stephen King movies. Yeah.
Anyways.
No, it was I guess I shouldn't know. I was about to start talking about like casting stuff and not that I recast anyone, but we'll get there.
Okay. All right. So why did we pick this book?
I picked it because there's so much hype around this. Like, it's not just even people we know. I feel like the second you say fried green tomatoes to anyone, mainly, like I said, in that older generation, they're instantly like, oh my God, I love that movie. It's such a good movie. And so when I realized it was based off of a book, I was like, oh, duh, we have to cover it at some point. So I picked it. I can't remember why I picked it for this season, but that's the story behind why.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I got some fun facts. So Mary Stuart Masterson. Sorry, I got distracted by these stupid e-bikes that are just everywhere around my neighborhood.
Yep, I hate kids.
So she did all the bee stunts herself because her stunt double quit at the last minute. So that was her doing all that.
That would suck.
I would be
so
terrified.
much.
I would be like, oh my gosh.
I love her though. She's my Benny and June girl.
Oh yeah. I thought I recognized her. Author Fannie Flagg is the woman telling the classroom of disaffected women you can get that spark back in your marriage. Which now that she wrote it, that makes more sense. I thought they were just being nice and bringing her in, but she screen wrote it too. So
yeah.
Okay, number 3. There really is a Whistle Stop Cafe that does indeed serve fried green tomatoes. It's just north of Macon, Georgia.
Probably Macon.
So,
mac and cheese.
Macon, Georgia. And so it became popular, obviously like extra popular after the film was a huge success. And yeah, it's just not in the same location that this is because I think it is. Yeah, this is filmed, or this is in Alabama. Is it where it is? And this one's in Georgia.
Okay, that's cute.
Yeah.
I bet they got a lot of business back in the day.
Probably. In the film, Ed's aunt, whom he and Evelyn visit in the nursing home, is Vesta Adcock. In the novel, Vesta Adcock is a rich and snobby resident of Whistlestop, and it's Ed's mother, Big Mama, that they visit. I didn't make note of that in my notes, so that's why I put it in here, so we would get that change.
I would have. That's my very first note. That's my
okay.
very first note.
Okay,
I was
good.
like, why are they visiting his aunt when it's supposed to be his mama? Because
Yes.
like an aunt not liking her, I don't think that's that bad. Like, yeah, it sucks that
Yeah.
you just came to the nursing home to visit and the aunt doesn't want to see you. Whereas in the book, it felt a bit more like a gut punch. Like, ooh, your mother-in-law doesn't want you there.
Yeah, right. All right. And it marks one of the final screenplays written by Carol Sobieski, for which she received an Oscar nomination. She died in 1990, the year before it came out.
That's sad.
Yep. All right. Are we ready to do this?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So
I
I'm going
already
to
know
let
my
everyone...
First note.
Yep. I'm going to let everybody know. I broke it up per chapter, and there's over 100 chapters. So, because some of the chapters are like, so here's how I labeled it for myself to know. We have background story, which is all the story that Ninny is telling. And that happens way back in like starting around like 1932, and it can fluctuate 15 years or so. In the nursing home, it's about 1986. That's all the time with Evelyn and Ninny. And then they have a weekly bulletin that kind of sort of follows the background timeline. But the bulletin is like a couple sentences, if that, for each chapter.
I was kind of sad that they didn't find a way to put that in the movie.
I know, I
get
did like
why
them.
they-
I liked the weekly chapters.
I thought that was one of the better parts of the book.
Yeah. So when I say background nursing home and weekly bulletin, that's now y'all know about when this is on.
What timeline we're in.
Yes. So book kicks off with the background, and we get background about this girl and Ninny, but now she's in a nursing home. So we just learn a little bit about who she is.
That doesn't happen.
Nope.
Pretty much the background stuff doesn't happen. Okay, that's a lie because
I was gonna say like half the movie is the background.
none of the background happens. No, I'm meaning none of the background from the like article and whatever.
Oh,
We
yeah,
only
yeah.
get background once what's her face is talking to once Couch is talking to
Yeah, that's true.
the old
Okay.
lady. I don't remember her name.
Ninny.
Ninny. Yep, there you go.
Threadgoode, I think. So we're in the nursing home, and she's talking to this lady.
Which-
Evelyn, yeah.
Sorry, but in the movie they never make mention of how she's a Threadgoode
Really?
Ninny. Yeah, I was waiting for it and it never
Interesting.
said anything. I was like,
Oh, you're right. Because I thought for the longest time it was going to reveal that she was Idgie.
That's kind of how it feels like it's playing. But literally in the book, one of the first chapters that she's talking about Idgie's family, she then reveals like, and I married, not Buddy was the one that Idgie liked, right? The other one then.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
I can't,
But it's not good.
I can't remember his name. But anyway, she says that she married that one, but does not say that in the movie.
Nope.
Maybe they
So,
want you to think
Evelyn-
that she's Idgie.
I know. I did the whole time. That's how I knew I watched it first, because I really was waiting for her to be like, that's her. And then I started reading the book. And in the book, I was waiting for them to be like, waiting for the trick.
Reveal.
Be like,
Reveal.
yep. And she kept talking
Yes,
about how
no.
she was someone else. And I was like, wait a second. No, you're Idgie. What are you talking about?
No. Incorrect.
All right. So Evelyn's in this nursing home visiting her mother-in-law, and she goes and sits down in like the lobby area or wherever. And then this old woman, who we learn is Ninny Threadgoode, just starts talking to her about like all sorts of stories. And one story was about how she was a kid and she was involved in this wedding, and the bride was convinced that she was going to ruin it. And we learn all about this. And when she got older, she started working in this little cafe that was in Southern Alabama.
Yeah, this part doesn't happen.
Okay.
She kind of basically the second her and Evelyn start talking, she's right away talking about Idgie.
I do like how the book like had the 3 sections, but they were all connected somehow. It was just like a different perspective to
Mhm.
each section. I liked how they
Yeah.
did that. So we're at the weekly bulletin and we find out that there's a meteorite that fell and everybody's so interested in it. And let's see, is this one related to that? It is not. Sometimes they're related. Sometimes they're not. This one is not related to anything. But later we find out the meteorite is on display in the cafe.
Mm-hmm. Whereas this does not happen in the movie.
Nope. So we get background on this African American named Smokey. And he, right? Yeah. When he was a kid,
No,
what?
Smokey's the homeless dude. Is he also African American? I thought he was just homeless.
Maybe.
Because the other one is her buddy.
Right. This was Smokey's story, right? Or was it
Yes.
just, was that Big,
Oh,
what's his name's story? Maybe it was Big
No, that's
George's
Smokey's.
story. It's Smokey's story?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's this homeless guy named Smokey.
Yep.
When he was a kid, his dad ended up getting taken away and his mom like grew super into the church, but like kind of the crazy type of into the church. She's like speaking tongues and all this sort of stuff. And at one point she grabbed a rattlesnake and started speaking tongues to it. And she got distracted and it bit her and killed her. And he ended up running away. So he's homeless. And at some point as an adult, he walks to Whistle Stop. This isn't Smokey's story. This is Big George's story. Because he walks into the cafe where Idgie, he's like, yeah,
Yep.
right?
just kidding.
Okay.
Yep.
And he asks if he, can work. And she's like, absolutely. And they like give him like clothes to clean up into and everything. And he was assuming they would turn him away. And that was it. So he got a new job at the cafe.
Well, if this is Big story, this is definitely not his. The movie does not do it this way because in the movie, his mom's still around. And his mom's the one at the end of the movie.
You're right.
Uh-huh.
Because she's
That's
still
why I
in the
thought-
book too. But
Then this has to be Smokey's. Well, I bet
But
you. I don't
Smokey
think
doesn't
it's
work there.
No, he doesn't.
I don't know who this is, you guys. Some guy is their chef.
Oh no, you're right. It's a completely different character. It's neither of
Okay.
those two. I can't remember his name.
Professionals, you guys. We got the story for you.
He's not in the movie, so I didn't make note.
Nope. All right. So back at the nursing home, Evelyn is there and she's like, this woman is crazy. She just keeps talking to me. And she's like talking about like
Could you
as if
imagine?
they never, because this is like a week
Actually-
later, as if they never stopped talking. She just picks up her story again.
I was gonna say,
and-
could you imagine? But as someone who works in a nursing home, essentially, this happens a lot more
Yes.
frequently than you'd realize.
Yeah, that was that part. She just keeps talking to me.
Oh, I
Yeah.
mean that. Although, actually, no, I don't think she ever just keeps talking. Every time Mrs. Couch comes and sits down, she's like, "Can you tell me more about Idgie and Ruth?"
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So in our weekly bulletin, we learn about Opal Threadgoode, and she opened a beauty shop. So it's one of the sisters, right? Must be. And then we get background.
Or is it her
on-
mom?
Oh, okay, maybe it's her mom. I don't know.
think
We
it's
have
the mom.
background on how at the cafe they feed everybody, and this was in the 30s. So this was, top of the white supremacist time.
Unheard of.
Yes. But they were like, yeah, come on,
KKKs
let's
are
eat
running
here. You
about.
hungry? Yep. And so in this nursing home, Evelyn is here and she's like, does not want to sit and watch TV with her mother-in-law and husband anymore. So she went out to the lobby, starts talking with what's her name, Miss Threadgoode. And she then starts telling a story about how her and all the families get together all the time. And then the wedding happened. And at one point, she must have been like 17. And there was this train screech and screaming. And it was a neighbor friend, Buddy, who got hit by the train and he died. And it's like, she's like, never, just goes to show you, never know when your last day is going to be.
So the Whistle Stop Cafe does feed anyone that comes to it in the movie. And then at the nursing home, Evelyn is never trying to watch TV with her family. She's always going straight to Ninny. And at this point, she doesn't explain who Buddy is in the book, but in the movie, you already are very aware that it is Idgie's brother and Idgie's best friend.
So the weekly is advertising a piano in a piano store and playing songs and all this sort of stuff. And then we're going to the nursing home, or really it's Evelyn's house. And she was always a good girl growing up. She ended up, being a little more like, she didn't want to be risky or naughty, and she just was a good kid. And then her and her husband kind of drifted apart, and they didn't spend her and her kids, started drifting apart. Didn't spend a lot of time with them, and she's trying to save her marriage. And so that's why she's going to these weekly meetings about like how to improve your relationship. And she's just very sad and not happy, and she's just miserable, and she doesn't want to lose her husband, even though he was cheating on her at one point. And it's just sad.
This part does happen. I mean, we don't get backstory on her, but the rest of that does happen.
Mm-hmm. So we have our weekly bulletin about is it the Pig Club or the Pickle Club? What is it?
Oh,
the Lying Club. Neither sounds right.
No, they don't.
I don't remember. Dang it. It was this cute name too.
I don't remember.
Okay. Oh, well, whatever. Okay. So there's this club where they just get together and like make up lies and stuff, just, for fun. But they like fun friends and poker and all that sort of stuff. So the weekly bulletin was explaining that. And then we go to the nursing home, and Evelyn starts sharing food with Mrs. Threadgoode. And we get a story of, I will say right now, this book, y'all, was quite racist. So I was
very, very, very racist.
To the point where I was working outside and I didn't have my headphones on. So I started a chapter and I immediately turned it off because my amazing neighbors are all African American, and I did not want some of the things playing that I was listening to. And I was like, this is horrendous. I actually even feel guilty talking about it with my window open right now.
It is. It just goes to show you what kind of a world we lived in, which fucking sucks to realize how horrible we were at one point. Yeah. But obviously that's not something that we want to forget that we were, because then we'll at some point end up back where we were. Yeah. Unfortunately, it kind of feels like we're heading that way. But we can hope that we will stay going in the correct path.
I don't really know why that came up right now, because this part is not racist at all. It's just
I know. I don't know why you said it right now.
This African American lady, and she's working for the family, and she makes all the food in the cafe, and she uses all her own recipes. Why,
because she's working for the family, probably.
I guess, but she's working, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure they paid her. It wasn't slave time back then. It was just, was it?
Here's 25 cents for your week of work.
Yeah. But did you hear all the prices down there? They're like, you could get a whole dinner for 10 cents. I was like, what? Oh my gosh.
I'll go there.
Yeah, seriously. So George and Big George fell in love. And then there's this little boy that came off the train, and they adopted and raised him and all this sort of stuff. I don't know. That's what I remember. But it didn't sound right when I said it. Did they just have a boy? Where'd the train part come?
What part are you? Oh, we're there, Georgia. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Sweet. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
I don't remember his name, but yeah. Wow, that part does not happen in the movie at all.
No. So we get some background, and there's workers in the field, and they're like, we smell your delicious barbecue. And they're like, yeah, definitely, you can have some. But the white folk overheard, and they're like, actually, no, you can't. That's illegal. And they're like, no, this is our place. We can do whatever we want. He's part of the Ku Klux Klan, KKK. And so she's like, no. But then she told the guys, like, just come around back and we won't have any issues. Like, so they have this little secret window in the back that they can just come get barbecue anytime they want.
They never outright, like, they do have a scene where this gets said, but they never, like, outright tell them to come to the back. Everyone just already goes to the back. And honestly, the back looked way more fun than inside the restaurant.
Yes.
I would have been hanging out back there.
Yep. It reminded me of some of the, like, the barbecue place in Westport.
Yeah. I could see that.
All right. So we got the weekly, and they're just saying that, like, a menu change, a joke with that. I thought the weekly ones were so cheeky, and I love the little weekly chapters. And then with the nursing home, Evelyn is terrified of death. Like, her mom died young of cancer, and so she's scared to death of death. And so this is why she didn't like going to the nursing home.
Scared to death of death.
Scared to death of death. She didn't go to the nursing home, or she didn't like to go. She doesn't like to go to the doctor because she's scared she might have cancer. And one time she got checked, they found something concerning, but it ended up being nothing. And lately she's even had thoughts of suicide, which is very interesting if you're scared of death. But yeah,
none of that happens in the movie.
Okay. So the weekly bulletin tells us that someone got bit by a gopher in a toilet. I was like, okay, thanks for sharing.
I thought that was hilarious.
Oh my God.
This was literally just how this little old lady in the town was able to gossip to everyone. Literally,
I know, her
like, she'd
little
find out a
bulletin.
piece of something. She'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta tell everyone about this."
Yeah. And she's always like, if someone wants a husband who does this, blah, 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 come get mine or whatever. Those were my favorite chapters. The most pointless. They had no point at all in the story, but they were the cutest little chapters.
They were just fun. Yeah.
Yep. And so then we're at the nursing home, and Mrs. Threadgoode took a walk with Evelyn, and they were chatting, and Evelyn vented about her weight and how she feels useless, and talking about how Evelyn might be having early menopause. And she's like, what? That's a thing? I can have that? And she's like, oh, sure, dearie. Of course you can.
This part does happen, but it happens way later in the movie, like towards the end of the movie, after Evelyn's done some crazy ass shit that she does do in the book too. But after all of that, that's when Ninny sits down with her and is like, honey, I think.
So our weekly bulletin's talking about drama club that they're going to have in the town. So come join. Back at the nursing home, we hear a story about Blacks back home and how the family included a little girl named, what was it? Like Nightbird? What was her name? Little girl's name. I think it was like Nightbird or something like this. It was interesting. I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up.
This part didn't happen in the movie, so I don't remember. I also read this book forever and a day ago, and I only
you did
watch the movie recently, so I really only have the movie in my head right now.
Yeah. And then
this part did not happen.
No. We learned from Miss Threadgoode how she wants to die at home and not in a hospital. And so, yeah. So then we get background, and Jasper and his brother got into a fight, and Big George took them to the doctor. They were two black guys that got in a fight. So everybody at the hospital's like being all judgy, like, oh, you guys suck. Blah, 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 blah. And Big George is Nightbird's, Little Bird's, whatever the girl's name's dad.
None of that happens in the movie, but we do see Big George's daughter in one scene in the movie. We just don't ever get introduced to her.
Nope. In the weekly, we learn about a Bible group that's meeting up. Cool. In the nursing home time, someone visits Mrs. Threadgoode and brought her a Cocker Spaniel planter. I assume in my head it's like a flower pot that looks like a Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would assume.
Okay. And then
but it wasn't in the movie, so we don't know.
We don't. She starts talking about Idgie and how she met Ruth, and she was just fascinated with her. And Idgie came and ate dinner with them for the first time. She never eats dinner with them, but Ruth was coming over, so she joined. And the siblings were all so giggly, and they got in trouble. And Mama was like, get out of here. Be nice to your sister. I love, too, how at no point did the parents, were they like, you like her? Like, they were encouraging from the get-go, and I loved it.
Yep. Because that's what freaking parents should be. But
I agree.
Just my 2 cents. But the movie, there was like tension between them the second they met. there was never like, there's this, Idgie doesn't super like Ruth. Also, they met in the movie way late. Like, I swear in the book, they're kids when they first meet, whereas in the movie, they were teenagers. And Idgie felt like they were pawning Ruth off onto her. Basically, it also gets said that the whole reason Ruth's around is to whip Idgie into shape, and Idgie is not for that.
Right.
Which again, I feel like her mom never in the book wanted to whip her into shape because that was her kid. She knew she was mourning the loss of her brother. So she wanted to get her out of that, but wasn't like, oh, you're a bad kid. You gotta act better.
Sorry, I'm trying to do something that's not working.
You're fine.
Okay, so we're back at the nursing home, and Evelyn brought Mrs. Threadgoode Taco Bell, and then this led her on a whole talk about food. And then she goes back to Idgie, and she left. Wait, I feel like I skipped a whole bunch. Oh, I did. I'm so sorry. I skipped a whole bunch. Before that, we have a background story about how Idgie woke up early to take Ruth on a picnic. And Ruth was shocked because it was so early. And Idgie's like, come on, let's just go. Let's go. And they went, and she grabbed honey out of this hole. And Ruth was terrified and crying because she was scared that she was going to die. And like that Idgie was going to die. And on this picnic, she let Idgie know, Ruth let Idgie know that she's going to go marry someone else at home. And Idgie's having a major meltdown. She breaks things in her room like the next day. And eventually Ruth comes in and calms her down. But she's still upset. She's like, begs her not to go marry this guy. And that's when Evelyn brought Taco Bell. And we find out Idgie left, and no one knew where she was for years except Big George.
So the picnic happens, the bee thing happens, and Ruth tells Idgie about getting married, but none of the rest of that happens.
So backstory, Buddy is wooing a girl named Eva. So this is before Buddy died. So, and Ruth went away to get married, and Idgie went away too. And after a while, Idgie came back into the bar where Eva was working, and she was so excited to see her because Eva hadn't seen Idgie in forever. And eventually, Idgie told her what happened, and Eva was there for her, and that's where Idgie lived for the next 5 years, was at this bar.
That does not happen.
We get a weekly report of Railroad Bill, who is this guy that tosses food off the train for homeless people or Black people that might not be able to make enough money to buy food.
In the movie, this is the first thing that Idgie and Ruth do together. Like, Idgie's jumping onto trains, and Ruth's like, oh, you're such a bad kid. You're a bad influence. We shouldn't be doing this. And then she realizes it's to throw food to homeless people. And she's like, oh, you're a good person. You're just rambunctious.
So right there, they solved the mystery of who Railroad Bill is. Because that was a mystery the whole time. And at the very end, they were like, maybe it was Idgie. We never know.
Well, in the movie, we know.
Right away. So Mrs. Threadgoode shared about how much she loved eating on a train, and Ruth and Idgie. And then she shares more story about Ruth and Idgie. And they had a little boy, and they went through some stuff, but he turned out great. And Evelyn's like, what? They had a kid? But she had to leave, so she didn't get the rest of that story.
This doesn't get told until in the movie. Everything is chronological. There's never like a jump, like, and then they were taking care of their kids. Oh, let me go back and tell you about how she had a kid.
I wish they did that in the book.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be a little bit more not confusing.
They did it for the most part, but every once in a while, and it would be a big jump like this. And it's like I'm like, oh my gosh. This one I wasn't too upset about because it was like a teaser and we went back. But other stories, I'm like, wait, I'm confused. And I mean, they have the date on every single chapter. So if I wanted to pay attention, I would know. But I just want to be able to follow along.
Allie just letting us all know that she's not paying attention to the book.
I had to pay attention as much as I had to get these notes, and they aren't even that great. All right. So Ruth had a boy, and he was hit by a train, and his arm got cut off. And Big George ran him to the hospital. And this is at the hospital. These guys are jerks to him because they think he got in a fight because he's this black guy in the hospital. And it's just awful. And so then we got report on what happened to Ruth and Idgie's boy for the weekly bulletin, and that he's going to be okay.
Ruth's kid does get hit by a train in the movie. And actually pretty much all that happens except for going to a white hospital.
So then we're back at the nursing home, and Mrs. Threadgoode is telling stories about Stump, which is what Ruth and Idgie's boy is now called. And Idgie even had them do a funeral for the arm. And but one Christmas he flipped out for some reason, and no one knows why. But Idgie brought him somewhere, and Ruth was really worried, but he was calm. He calmed down, and he was feeling a lot better. And after that, he never felt bad about his arm again. And then it keeps going, and we get the actual background story on it, where these kids got cap guns for Christmas, and they're all playing, and Stump keeps dying over and over because he can't reload his cap gun very good, which he's fine with until Peggy comes to watch. And then he didn't like dying anymore. And finally, he threw the cap gun away, and he just went back to the house, and he tore apart a bunch of presents that he had gotten. And Idgie brought him to play fetch with this 3-legged dog. And they talked about, do you see how happy that dog is? Do you think the dog cares that it's missing a leg? And he's like, no. And she's like, if a dog can be happy, you can be happy. And it was like, oh, I kind of like that.
This only gets mentioned in the movie, but you never see it. And I wish we saw it because I thought this was a good moment because I feel like in the book, Stump was definitely Idgie's kid. It felt like it never once felt like it was just Ruth's kid. You could tell that the two women had been raising this kid together.
Yeah.
Whereas in the movie, it kind of just felt like she was the fun aunt who sometimes helped raise him.
Yeah.
So I think that would have kind of more solidified, like, oh, look, she's actually like a big influence on his life.
Mm-hmm.
But what do I know?
Yes. We get some background. And there's this guy that he went to Birmingham. Right? Birmingham? Even though his mom's like, no, you're not allowed to go. But it was so magical there. I don't know. It was a city for this black kid that went, and he was like, wow, it's so amazing.
And this part did not happen in the movie.
Nope. Now we have a Slagtown Weekly, which is a different article, but it's talking about the music in Birmingham.
This does not happen in the movie.
Nope. We have a nursing home, and we're talking about depression. Oh, talking about the depression.
We have a nursing home, and we're talking about depression. Wow.
They're talking about the depression. And then we learn about Railroad Bill and the Dill Pickle Club. There we go.
That's what it was.
Okay.
Yep. Now that you say it, I remember because I heard that and I was like, damn, I want to be a part of that club.
I know. Idgie was
always
president,
here for-
and the club is where they drink whiskey and tell lies. And I was like, that does sound like a fun club, doesn't it?
This club kind of exists in the movie. It's just never brought about like that.
Yep. All right. So we get the weekly reports on how it snowed for the first time in Whistle Stop in who knows how long. And we get background story about how Idgie is waking Stump up because snow is here. And Idgie tells him told him a story about playing poker with these two guys who one guy ended up killing himself because he accidentally dealt himself a pair of twos. And I don't remember if it was like a bet that whoever like lost would die or whatever happened, but he's gone. And Stump found a tin can, possibly from Railroad Bill. And they started talking about how he's the bravest man ever. And Idgie's like, I think Ruth and Big George are the bravest people she knows. And Big George saved her life from hogs. She fell in the hog pit and he saved her. And Ruth's story is none of her business to share to Stump unless Ruth wants it shared.
None of that happens in the movie.
Yeah. We're at the nursing home and Evelyn is sleeping much better and was dreaming of all the stories about Mrs. Threadgoode told her. And she's thinking about the gun less and less that she was going to use to end her life. And Mrs. Threadgoode is thinking about this hobo she knew back in the day who is Smokey. And now we get Smokey's story. That he was a loner, but he hung out at specific hobo camps. And one day a kid came in. He's like, kid, you don't want to be in the homeless life. Go back to your like home. And he's like, nah, I don't want to, blah, 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 blah. And so he kind of took him under his wing. The kid wanted to see this movie with this really pretty actress in it. So he like was able to scrounge up a couple cents for him to go see it. But the next day their camp got raided and Smokey told him to run. And unfortunately the kid got killed in the process and they had a small funeral for him. It's kind of sad.
I really hate that the movie doesn't really introduce you to Smokey. Like, he's in the movie here and there, but he's not a character.
Mhm.
So then at the end, when everything happens, it's not this big, like, whoa. Not that it was like that big of a moment either in the book, but when reading it, it was like you were trying to figure out who did it. Because then you're like, oh, she's, not to ruin it for people who haven't read it, but she's covering for someone.
Mhm.
And so in the book, when that was made known who she was covering for, it was a bit more like, oh shit. Because like at first you're like, why am I getting all of his backstory? He isn't pertinent to this story. And then you realize why. Whereas in the movie, it just kind of feels like, well, that's random. Like, why did you just randomly decide to do that?
Oh, yeah. I see it. So, in the weekly bulletin, we find out that they're dynamiting the railroad. And Mrs. Threadgoode back at the nursing home is talking about how she loves Easter. And she shares about how her family would hide hundreds of Easter eggs. And one year she found the golden egg and her friends were so jealous. And she wanted to give, she talked about her husband and how wonderful he was. And she really wanted to give him a baby, but she was unable to until one Easter Sunday, the light like shined through right on her. And she knew right there, God was saying, you're pregnant. And sure enough, she was. And it turned out that a little while later, he had a brain aneurysm at birth and he found like he was mentally disabled throughout the rest of his life and he died early on. So she said she's excited to see him one day.
This does not get mentioned in the movie.
Nope. We find out in the weekly bulletin that there's this guy who's selling sewing machines and he's a fraud. So don't buy his sewing machines. And then Idgie put a picture of Miss Fancy, an elephant, who's an elephant. Naughty Bird. That's what the girl's name is called. Naughty Bird.
Yep. That sounds
Mhm. Wanted to see it so badly, but it was like in the middle of a KKK area. So she was really sick. So they could not take her to go see this. And the doctor let them know though, hey, if she does not eat, she is going to die this week. And so Idgie like tried to pull some magic and she did. She went and played poker with the elephant handler and had this elephant brought to Naughty Bird.
I wish this scene happened because it just like, again, it would have helped with the like, but that doesn't seem like something Idgie would do. Like,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Because in the book, you're always like, okay, apparently this is what Idgie does. And then you get stories like this. So then you're like, but why? Like, yeah, she's the kind of person to stand up for people, but murder seems extreme.
Right.
And so these stories just kept coming up to kind of, you know, reinforce that when you get to that part.
Yep. So we have background and this is way back about 2 weeks after Ruth has left. And Idgie drove around town trying to find information about Ruth's fiance. And she was being really sneaky. And then the newspaper talked about Ruth's wedding. And we get more background on the wedding day. And it's outside. She's outside the church and she's watching. And she's just holding her horn down and she feels sick. And they can hear the horn from inside the church.
Oh, funny. She does not hold the horn down.
Mm-mm.
But Idgie does go and see them. So she doesn't see them at their wedding. She sees them at their house.
Yeah.
On their wedding day, why did you get married and basically leave to go to your house? Like,
did they get married at their house?
Oh, maybe. Well, no, because they drove up in a car in the movie. They drive up in a car and as she drives up and pulls up to the tree, which also this house is like in the middle of nowhere and there's a tree randomly. It's far away, but it's not a secretive area. So it's not like they couldn't see Idgie's car
there.
or her standing there like,
awkward.
Yeah.
Funny. So we're at the nursing home and Ed Couch spent the day with his mom, and Evelyn is chatting at home or like chatting at the nursing home with Mrs. Threadgoode. And she's really excited because she wasn't able to see her for 2 weeks. And now she gets to go back and see her. And when she finally saw her, she noticed that Mrs. Threadgoode got her hair done all purple like. And Evelyn brought her candy to celebrate Easter since they missed it together. And she shared about how Mr. Pinto was a famous murderer in Whistle Stop. And then we learn from the Whistle Stop Weekly that a famous murderer stopped, like the dead guy was at the train station. They were shipping his body out. And Idgie let Stump know that Mr. Pinto was going to be here, but don't tell anyone. But of course, he convinced Peggy, because him and Peggy are besties, to go try and get a picture of him. And they waited in line, and eventually the police, like watching, stepped away really quickly. So they moved the coffin lid, and Peggy didn't want to look. And they were both like not looking, and they tried to take a picture of it. But then the police were like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And they screamed, and they dropped the camera into the coffin, and then they saw the dead guy's face, and they're like all freaked out. But then the police came and returned the camera, and they were all both laughing about it.
The only thing that happens in everything Allie just said is that Ninny ends up having purple hair.
Such a bummer. That was a fun one.
I know. Isn't that insane though? Like, there's never a break with when Evelyn sees Ninny, so that part doesn't happen. She does bring her candy at one point. They never talk about any of the holidays that are coming and going.
Yeah.
Like, as time's passing.
It's true.
And then the murder thing doesn't happen.
Yep. So we learn about Frank Bennett. And he was this nice guy for the most part until he started drinking. And when he drinks too much, he beats women. And this is who Ruth married. And he has a glass eye. And someone said it's the only one that has any compassion. And Idgie came to Georgia often to watch Ruth and make sure she was okay. And one day she came to check in and apologize to her and about their last encounter. And she asked her to come home, but she left before she could answer because what's his name showed up. Frank showed up, and she's like, ugh.
So in the movie, Idgie isn't like watching, like she doesn't come and check on Ruth often. She does come to apologize. When she comes, Ruth comes to the door and is hiding half of her face until something happens where she like turns around and Idgie sees the side of her face that she's been hiding, because you're hiding that side of your face and you turn the opposite way of what you're hiding. That makes no sense. But anyway.
Right.
And so then Idgie sees that and it's like, oh, I'm gonna kill him. But then he comes, so she leaves. Because Ruth makes her leave. And in the movie, he's just an asshole. It's not because he drinks. Not that he's not an asshole in the book. Obviously he is, but in the book he's a drunk who does this, whereas in the movie he just does this.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a random story. Wait, okay. They're all random. Mrs. Threadgoode is talking about bugs for some reason at the nursing home. And then we get a background story about this awful woman and this really good guy. And eventually this good guy got tired of his wife being a jerk and left. And the whole town was so proud of him. So I think this was like foreshadowing for what's going to happen with Ruth. And then we get the weekly bulletin talking about hunting season. And more background story.
Also foreshadowing.
Yeah. More background shadowing. More background.
Goodness. Shadowing.
And it has been 2 years since Idgie had last seen Ruth. And Idgie was in town and talked about Frank Bennett. And she was talking like to some cashier or something, someone that worked at a store. And she's like, he's a nice guy, right? And the lady's like, I guess, except I never fancied anyone who beat his wife. And Idgie then talks to Eva about it, she's been living with. And no one wanted to do anything about it except Idgie. And she's like, I'm gonna go kill the guy. Like, yeah, he's beaten my best friend.
So the one time that she says that she wants to kill the guy, it's when she's going and saving Ruth. And the rest of that does not happen.
Mrs. Threadgoode is telling Evelyn about this Bible verse that Idgie got in the mail from Ruth, and she ended up getting pregnant right before they left, but they didn't notice until they were already gone. Mrs. Threadgoode didn't know if Frank knew, and if he did, if he had a kid or not, because she never saw Ruth again, or he never saw Ruth again. And then we get details on all this. So we get Frank and Ruth's mom.
Well, wait, before you jump into this, I just want to say that first part does happen, but the rest of this does not happen.
Okay. So Frank and Ruth seem to be getting along just fine from what everyone could see. However, he eventually starts beating her, and she doesn't want to share this information with her mom because her mom seems to love Frank. But on her mom's deathbed, she told her to get out of this marriage. And after she died, she sent Idgie the Bible verse, which was basically a Bible verse from Ruth. But basically, it was like, come save me type of thing.
Get me out of here. I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So then we have background on Big George and Idgie, and they're in the truck. And they're going out with a couple of the other guys to save Ruth. And they're slightly threatened Frank when he asks what's happening. And after Ruth left, he made a lie that she went crazy, and that's why she left. And Mama and Papa were really nervous to see Ruth, which are Idgie's parents, because they want her to stay, but they don't want to freak her out and be like, stay with us. But as soon as they saw her, they just start bawling. They're like, you're going to stay with us. You're never leaving us again.
When I read this, I thought they did it at night, but in the movie, they do it during the day. And Big George does help, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all that happens from that part.
So we have a weekly bulletin where this girl ran over a guy's head, but it was so muddy out. It's okay. His head sunk into the mud, so he was alive. Like, what the?
This does not happen in the movie.
That was one of those chapters I was like, what did I just read? How muddy was it that he was chill with a car running over him? Oh my gosh. All right. So we get background, and the cafe's open, and they saw the KKK outside. And they asked them to leave. But they didn't do anything bad. They were just standing there. But one was looking really hard at Ruth. And then a newspaper reports that Frank Bennett is missing. The cops are there, and they are asking around to see if anyone knew anything about Frank. And rumor was that he came down to Whistle Stop to look for someone. When everyone said no, they all left except one cop. And he spoke to Idgie and let her know that if any body or possession was found, he would have to come back because reports have her saying that she would kill him. Does she understand? It was like a cop way of being like, get rid of any information, any evidence you have.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I know no one's gonna care if he's gone because I have a daughter that's got knocked up because of him, and but I'm the law. I gotta do what I gotta do. And then the newspaper. Sorry, you go.
So the cop does say all that, except not the thing about the daughter being knocked up by him. And it's not like in a nice, like, destroy the evidence way. It's in a I'm gonna fucking get you way.
Yeah. Newspaper article labels Frank Bennett must be dead because nothing has been found, but the search has ended because no evidence has been found. And the weekly bulletin says that Idgie's mom died a year after her dad did, so she's all sad.
This does not happen.
Yep. At the nursing home, we're talking about how Ninny feels old now, but she doesn't feel like it. And, yeah, that's about all there. It's related. We get background on Idgie went fishing, but didn't catch a catfish.
Wait.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was looking at my notes to see if there's something that I should mention.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess right now what I will mention is that throughout this whole entire movie, Evelyn has been going to essentially a marriage counseling group because that's how she thinks she's going to fix her marriage. And so a lot of the stories that happen when she's during her chapters in the book happen through her going to this, like, it almost feels like an AA meeting, but for fixing your marriage. And then like realizing like I need to be a better version of me. And like she keeps trying to fix her marriage, but her husband's not doing shit to help with it. So she just keeps going about her own business.
Yep. Okay. So Idgie went fishing and she didn't catch a fish. And she made up a lie about why, and Ninny believed her. It's just more of the dill pickle club. And we get a weekly bulletin about there's a late night prowler around, so watch out. And background information is that there's this guy that's a player and his girl kicked him out. And eventually he realized he didn't like that type of lifestyle and he straightened up and he went back home. I don't know. Is that the late night prowler? Who knows?
That does not happen in the movie.
Oh, no. The related to that is the newspaper article next saying they got married. Congratulations, people that I don't know who you are. All right, we're at nursing home time, and Evelyn's feeling pretty good about herself. She's like day 9 of her diet. She went to the store, and a kid bumped into her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm like, excuse me," and then he called her a name, and she went out and confronted him. And he called her a name again, and he knocked her down, and she busted her elbow, and she's crying and confused. Why was he so mean to her?
Oh, that's all that happens in the book?
With this part. Yes. Later, I think they combined this part and the other part.
Okay. I thought that happened. Well, at this point in the movie, she rams into his... Oh, wait, nope. Nope, she does just chase after him and cry and be like, why were you so mean to me?
Okay, so they did keep it separate. Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, my bad. I was confusing. I was mixing up her interaction with the two girls.
Nope, you're fine. So the weekly bulletin reports that the draft is happening. And in the nursing home, Evelyn is so upset that she created this alter ego to Wanda. And this gal took care of all women. And she would fantasize about this. Like she would actually like imagine like beating up men and kicking men and hurting men just to bring goodness to women. And then
in
the
movie, the reason she does this is because Ninny told her that Idgie used to say to Wanda.
Yes, which I don't think happened in the story.
I was kind of confused when Idgie first said it, and I was like, this seems weird.
The weekly bulletin is talking about how badass women are. We are. Dang straight.
We're the most badass. To Wanda.
We get background on this guy Willie. He's killed over a tiff frustration, and Idgie performed his funeral, and the whole town is quite sad about it. I don't remember who Willie is. But his heart was found in a paper sack, so that's some gross drama going on there. Was he a homeless guy? I don't know.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
He was one of Smokey's friends. Yeah.
Okay.
For a second, I thought that was our chef that we didn't remember in the beginning. And I was like, holy fuck, I don't remember that happening to him. But no, it was another homeless dude.
Okay. So we have a weekly bulletin. There's an update on a fundraiser that they're doing back at the nursing home. Mrs. Threadgoode is talking about how the news sucks and life is awful, but that's why she sticks to her religious shows. And one of the residents got in trouble for kissing another resident. And the kids took this resident home because they were pissed that he would start hooking up with other residents. They were pissed at the other resident, not at the dad who it was. And our weekly bulletin says that her husband fell in a hole of lacquer. And congratulations, the war's over. We're good.
And none of that happens in the movie.
Mrs. Threadgoode is at the nursing home, and she's talking to her nurse about Evelyn. And she shared how Ruth came in and lived with her for a time. And then we get a story about why Ruth left, and Idgie lied to her when all she had to say that she was in the woods taking a breather. And eventually Ruth called, and she's like, was this before? See, this is the timeline that I wish I took notes on. I don't know if this is before she left to get married, or it's after. No, I don't think no. Okay, this is after. This is why Ruth went to live with Ninny, because they got in a fight, and Idgie's like, well, I just wanted to be alone, and like I just needed some me time. So a newspaper article says that Stump has become the quarterback of the high school team, which is awesome because he has one arm. How cool is that?
That's super cool. That doesn't happen in the movie. That would have been cool if it did.
That would have been cool. So we get background on Idgie. She calls Stump to the house and corrects some behavior because Peggy asked him to the dance because it was like the Tolo dance or whatever, the Sadie Hawking dance or whatever they're called. And and he told her, come back and ask me when you grow some boobs, because he was in front of the guy, so he had to act cool. And Idgie put a stop to that right then and there. And
she could have been such a bitch and been like, well, you come and ask me when you grow an arm.
Yeah, right? She's so then like they had to talk about, why are you like not into girls? Like, what's wrong? And I'm fully expecting him to be like, hey, I'm gay because, you know, you guys are gay. And like,
I thought that too, for sure.
No, he's worried when he has sex that he might hurt the girl because he can't prop himself up on one arm. Oh my gosh. But then Idgie's like, here, we're gonna help you get over this, and she sets him up with a prostitute. Like, what?
Good parenting. Good parenting.
Gosh. What is happening?
She's not the biological mom, so you know.
Yeah, right.
She's like, yeah, I'll do this for you.
Oh no. Well, yeah, I don't think that happened. Did that happen? I don't remember that happening.
No, not at all. A lot of it, I realized at first when you were like, there's so many chapters, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be long. But I'm realizing this is just, they cut out a ton of shit.
So much, yeah. So the weekly bulletin, kids are at a football game. Okay. Then we get background about this dog catcher, or this dog that was picked up by a dog catcher. And this boy knew whose dog it was. So he's like, can I go get him, please? And he goes and he really tries hard. He looks through the phone book, everything. He went, he's like, can you, and he couldn't get a hold of him. And he went back and he's like, can you take me to their house? They're like, no. And so he cut the rope and let the dog free. And then he got 10 years for assaulting the guys because he was a black kid when they were white guys. And just because he had a knife out around them. And he was just trying to save the little puppy.
I think this story is there, again, to kind of help explain why Idgie protects people.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, we live in such a different day and age that this story sounds insane. Mm-hmm. Even though we also really don't live in a different day and age. But, like, this doesn't happen all the time now. Only sometimes, unfortunately. And so I think, which is kind of crazy because when this book came out, it definitely probably didn't need like a reminder like, oh, hey, look, this is how bad things were. But I think that's why that's in there. It's not in the movie.
Mm-mm. So, I scrolled. Why did I scroll? Okay. So we're at the nursing home and Evelyn comes in or she came to the understanding that having balls is the most important thing in the world. And so that's added to her Tawanda frustration.
Tawanda.
Yes. So then we have our weekly bulletin where they're hosting a ballless wedding to raise money for sports balls. Not really sure what that is. Does that just mean two women are getting married?
Oh, probably.
Okay. I'm not sure how they're raising money at a wedding, but okay.
I don't know.
So then we get background in Idgie. She was able to get that boy out that was arrested. And at the nursing home, there were these patients that didn't like that there were African-American nurses there. And one being Evelyn's mother-in-law that is vocally saying all this stuff. And then Mrs. Threadgoode goes and tells stories about when Ruth died of cancer, there was those black women there that stayed with her until the end, and she made sure she looked nice at the funeral home, and she was all really good. But the way she said it, she's just like, I love the black people, blah, 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 blah. I was like, Mrs. Threadgoode, we can't talk like that. That's not okay. I was like, that was the chapter that I had to turn off. I was like, we can't be listening to this outside. Which is a bummer because it's a really good story about this woman who cared about Ruth, but just the way Mrs. Threadgoode told it, I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's funny though.
All right, so this woman that helped Ruth sent Idgie and Stump out to get things for Ruth. And while they were gone, she gave her morphine to help with the pain, like enough that would help her pass type of help with the pain. And yeah, and so the cafe was closed because they had a funeral. They were going to do a funeral there. And yeah,
That did not happen. No.
Ruth died, but I don't know if
I was going to say, like, I don't think it does that story justice in the movie. She gets sick and we like see her in bed. And we see Idgie taking care of Stump. And then Ruth's dead.
All right, so we're at the nursing home. Really, we're at the store. And Evelyn was waiting for a parking spot. And these two girls came and stole it. And she's waiting for the spot. And she says, like, hello, I was waiting for that. And they said some snide comment. And she's like, okay. And she crashed into their car 6 times.
And that happens in the movie. And I was getting this confused with the other one.
Yes. So, backstory. Stump came back from college and Peggy invited him to her sweetheart dance. Oh, no. She invited him twice? I don't know. He didn't want to go, but Idgie made him go. And he was really happy when it was all done because he knew people there that knew him from high school. And they're like obsessed with him because he's like the quarterback and all this sort of stuff. And he was about to let her out of the car when she took off her glasses. And he's like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. And then they kissed. And it was the most passionate moment of his life. And 2 years later, they were married.
That does not happen in the movie.
We get background on this girl named Clarissa, who is Jasper's daughter, who is one of the chefs at the Whistle Stop. I don't really remember who Jasper is.
Jasper, I think he's just friends with Big George. He might be the chef.
Okay, he's friends with him. Okay.
Chef.
But he's very fair-skinned, so much so that she can pass as white. And so she went to the store and bought some perfume, and her uncle recognized her and like went over and touched her on the shoulder and was like, hey. And the perfume salesman freaks out and was like, get this black man away from my client, blah, 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 blah. And he was thrown out of the store. And she didn't stand up for him because today she wanted to pretend she was white. Like she picks her days where she wants to be white or black. And years later, they met up again and neither one recognized the other one.
That's so sad.
That's sad.
Like, that's insane.
Yep.
That does not happen in the movie.
No. So we are at the weekly bulletin and her and her husband switch glasses. That is such a silly thing. Now we're at the nursing home. And
these are the kind of stories I hear at work all the time.
Yes, I believe it. Mrs. Threadgoode and Evelyn are talking about birds on the telephone wire and if they can hear through their feet. And she was sure they could because Idgie told her that they could. And Evelyn's like, no, they cannot. And then they were talking about how African Americans make the best barbecue. And Evelyn wishes that she was black because they have such a good community and they all seem to fit in. And Mrs. Threadgoode's like, oh gosh, you wouldn't want that. Oh my gosh. Mrs. Threadgoode, stop.
But also, Evelyn, you shouldn't have been saying that either.
That's true too.
Just...
Like you can have your own community. It was just
it doesn't have to be just because of your
skin color. Right? Like what is happening?
Yeah, it was very, I did not like this. They did not put this in.
No.
But what I will say is they did put in Idgie's like tall tales is what I would call them. Where she would just come up with funny stories.
Yeah.
And like, that's what Ruth wanted her to say to her while she was dying. She was like, tell me one of your stories.
Yeah.
And Idgie's like, no, I can't. And she's like, tell me about the lake. And she's like, you know, that's a lie. And she's like, I know, but just tell me it.
Oh, yeah. So then we get background on Naughty Bird, and she fell in love with this boy. And a year later, they had a daughter together, and he ended up cheating and leaving her for this white woman or fair-skinned woman. I don't know. And so she tried everything she could to become fair-skinned, and nothing worked. And eventually, he died. So she was like, fine, good, be dead.
That does not happen in the movie.
Nope. We're at the nursing home. Mrs. Threadgoode wanted Evelyn to go to church. On the way, she like passed her usual church, but she went to a Black Baptist church instead. She was so uncomfortable at first because she was the only white girl there. But by the end, she felt the happiest she'd ever felt. and she had forgiven herself and so many other people. And one of the people she shook hands with was the great granddaughter of Jasper. She didn't know
None
it.
of this happens.
Nope. We have a newspaper, and we learn about how the railroad's shutting down and all these details about Jasper. And then in the weekly bulletin, we learn more details about Jasper and how he worked at the railroad. And then we find out a little bit about Smokey, and he's in this hotel room, and he's just remembering the good old times. And he soon
None
dies.
of that. What?
And Smokey soon dies. Where does he die? I'm just gonna loop it together. He basically dies. He's like remembering the good old times, and then he goes kind of crazy, and then like he dies happily. I don't know where it is.
None of that happens in the movie.
Nope. Evelyn brought Mrs. Threadgood some pie and got her a drink, and she's realizing how old Mrs. Threadgood really is. And she's starting to lose her memory, but she's still really sweet. And they are giving the sheriff a background story now. They're giving the sheriff a rough time because he's unable to catch Railroad Bill. And this is when they start like guessing who it might be, and Idgie's name gets thrown in the loop. And we have more information. Their Stump is hanging out with his daughter and granddaughter. So this is like obviously probably more nursing home time than background time. And he's telling them stories about the good old days. So he's continuing telling Idgie's tall tales.
That does not happen.
Mm-mm. At the nursing home,
Yeah,
it was mentioned
Huh? Oh, you already knew. Good job.
What?
I was reading it. I'm trying to figure out when I need to say my next few notes. And I was trying to read your notes, and I was like, what the fuck does that say? I thought it was talking to the sister good about the time people thought Idgie killed someone.
Gotta love that voice.
Allie, what does that mean?
Evelyn, or Mrs. Threadgood was talking to Evelyn about this time that Idgie killed someone, and it's like, what? And it turns out Frank Bennett's truck was found in the water, and they let him, like, it led them back to Idgie. And they're on trial, and she got distracted. Mrs. Threadgood got distracted because another tenant came in, and she never finished. And Evelyn's like, how are you not going to finish your story? I am finding out Idgie's a murderer. Tell me more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I can keep going because this is all part of it.
I was going to say keep going because that part does happen, except for there's never a cliffhanger for Evelyn.
Okay. So we get the background story of it, that learning about the trial, and it was not looking good for Idgie, even though she tried really, really hard, until one day the hobos came in that she had helped all those times and like fed and everything like that. They come in and they pretend that they're part of this religious group and that she always came to summer camp with them. And that's where she was. And she had gotten off. So did Big George, because Big George was also involved with this. So they were not able to commit the murder. In reality, the judge knew that this was all a lie, but his daughter died because of Frank. So he didn't really care.
I was so confused in the movie. I'm really glad that you said this because I was like, I don't remember this preacher dude being in this at all. So throughout the whole entire movie, Idgie, basically from the time she was a kid, her mom wanted her to go to church, but she was the kind of kid that was like, I ain't going to church. Like, I would much rather be doing what I'm going to church for rather than sitting in a church listening to it. Like, she was very much, you're not practicing what you're preaching in her character. That's why she wanted to go to the railroad and throw food to the homeless, because she was like, what we're told to do is to love everyone as you would love yourself, but no one's doing it. So there's this whole relationship that she has with the preacher of the local church, and essentially it's not a good one. He's always trying to get her to come, and then he takes the stand in the trial, and they're like, oh no, he's gonna know where we were and weren't, and he's about to turn us in. But then he covers for them and is like, they were at a retreat that is held for 3 days. Right after they had said something about how like they were elsewhere. Like, why would they even lie about that? And why would the judge, because the judge doesn't say anything about his daughter being killed by Frank. The judge is just like, obviously the pastor says this, and he swore on his Bible. And then you find out that he swore on Moby Dick.
Yeah, that's right. Which happened in the book too, I believe. Maybe it was a Moby Dick, but it was not the Bible.
Yeah.
Okay. So Evelyn is now talking to Mrs. Threadgoode as soon as she could, because she's just like, they're besties now. And she's talking about the trial and how she thought who she thought killed the guy. And Mrs. Threadgoode's like, Matt, it doesn't matter who killed it. It's like, it happened. It's done. And they discuss it and they're like, well, what do you think? And she's like, we'll never know. She's like not helpful to Evelyn. She's like, oh my gosh.
I would be so mad. As a true crime lover, I would be pissed. I'd be like,
Can you just
what?
talk
This
to
is
me
where my
about
story ends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, tell me. I'm going to figure out. Me and John the other day, we drove by the courthouse in Tacoma where I did jury duty forever ago. And we were talking about it. And I was like, because I was fucking dedicated when I got that jury duty. Because at that point, I was working overnights at hotels. So I would go from my overnight shift when I would get off at 7 a.m. to the courthouse to sit and wait. I would take like hour-long naps in my car when they would be like, okay, take a break, come back in a few hours, and we'll tell you what's going on. Because I really wanted on a freaking trial, and I didn't get on one. I was so mad. I got picked for a group to be like on a jury, but then the like lawyers hashed it out or something without us. So then they didn't need us. And I was so mad. But so I was telling him this and he was like, I bet you with how much we're watched online and everything, you are the number one person to not get picked. I was like, no, I am. They're like, ooh, she would love this. And he was like, no, Bri, you would be the worst. And then he was like, imagine you got put on a trial where it's obvious that the guy didn't do it, but everyone else thinks he did. I was like, oh no. He was like, you'd be trying to talk to the defense attorneys and be like, guys, your client is innocent. I was like, yeah, I would actually, that would piss me off. I would be so mad. I'd be like, I'd be the 12 angry men. The one person's like, right, guys, he's innocent.
Look at that. He saved the guy though in that movie.
That's true. He did. See, so Big Brother, find me, put me on jury duty.
Oh my gosh. All right. So we get some background. Oh, here we go. Smokey hasn't died yet because this big reveal happens. We get background that Smokey loved Ruth. He had stolen a picture of her and pinned it to the inside of his jacket, and he carries it all the time. And he ended up getting real sick in the hotel place, and he ended up dying, and they didn't know who it was, but he had a picture there. So they're like, oh.
He doesn't die in the movie, but in the movie at the very end, Ninny says one line about how much he loved Ruth. And that's it. That's it.
Oh, I skipped part. I thought this was cute though. How like when Ruth died, Idgie tried really hard to find him because she knew that he loved him. I loved her.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he came to town, he let her know, and they went to the grave together. It's like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. That didn't happen.
No. So we have newspaper that there's this homeless man found dead, frozen. So he didn't die in the hotel or wherever he was. He died frozen. And he had a jacket or photo pinned. And so then we get the weekly, and the Weems place is shutting down, and everyone else is going. So like they're going to be shutting down pretty quick here too. And we get back to the nursing home. And we find out it's a few years ago that Evelyn saw herself in a TV reflection, and she realized how big she had gotten. And that's when she started feeling miserable. And she decided to get her life together. And finally, she went to a doctor, got checked out, and gave her some medicine. She's feeling so much better. She actually became a Mary Kay saleswoman, and she's rocking it. And she's excited to get that 2-week vacation. No, not 2 weeks. She's like going hardcore. She's going to it's not called fat camp, but that's what they called it in the movie, like the spa camp to help her lose weight. Not the movie, the show, the book, whatever I watched. Read.
Yeah, I was like, that was not in the movie. In the movie, what gets her kicking into gear is Ninny, because she like talks to Ninny, and Ninny's like, honey, this is the menopause part where she's like, this is really what you need to do to get yourself off of that. Do this. And then you need to get yourself a job so that you're not sitting at home doing nothing.
Yep.
So she goes to Mary Kay.
Okay. Let's see. Hang on. Really quick. Okay. So they're at Whistle Stop and there's like a bunch of like pig skeletons all around this area. And they found a skull with a glass eye in it. So wherever they were burying or burning all the pigs, that's where they burned Frank Bennett. And then we get some background on that. And Frank came to the house and he took Miss Ruth's baby. And the woman that works in the kitchen said absolutely not and smashed him over the head with a frying pan and killed him. And her grandson went and got his dad, Big George, and they went back and they needed to figure out what to do. And he went and dumped the truck about 10 miles north and walked back. And then they realized that the head was decapitated because grandma chopped it off and buried it somewhere. And the rest they boiled up with a barbecue and served like barbecue sauce with like, people are like, this is the best barbecue ever. And they're like, yep. They were eating a person. So gross.
I couldn't even freaking imagine. Like, they Sweeney Todded that shit.
It was gross. Seriously.
I was like, no way did they serve that. And they never went back on this. And I was like, oh, okay.
Right?
They served a dead guy to people. And yes, the rest of that does happen in the movie.
Yes. Okay. So we're at the nursing home and the grandson is now an old guy just kind of sitting there going crazy. What? Two gentlemen are talking about him.
Big George.
Oh, is it Big George?
I think so.
Okay. He's just kind of, he's going crazy and like.
Or wait, no,
home.
Big George's grandson.
Okay. And then he eventually dies pretty
Or not
peacefully into
Big
sleep because he
George's
starts remembering Miss Ruth and everything like that.
This does not happen.
Nope. So we're at the nursing home and Evelyn is at her spa camp and she's rocking it. So we're not at the nursing home, but we're at that time frame. And she was there. So she found like her people and she made friends and she's lost 23 pounds in 2 months. But then she gets a letter that from Mrs. Threadgoode neighbor that she died peacefully at her home.
So in the movie, Miss Threadgoode does not die.
Mm-mm.
Instead, there's a fake out where she comes to visit and they're cleaning up Miss Threadgoode's place or her apartment. And they're like, she went peacefully in her sleep. That's all I know. That's all I know. And then a different nurse comes in and is like, this is what she wanted. And Evelyn's like, she wasn't supposed to die, not right now. And then she's like, what? Die, honey? No, she went back home. Which earlier in the movie, you found out from someone that her home actually was like, so what is it called? It was condemned. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, something like that.
So her house was condemned, so they had to demolish it. And we're like, good, now that she's out of there, I can condemn and demolish it. And so essentially waited for her to go live with her friend in the nursing home, which in the book, she kept saying she was there for her friend, but then you find out that she's actually there for herself. Whereas in the movie, she is, in fact, there for her friend. And her friend is the one who died in the morning, peacefully in her sleep. And so then Evelyn has already been trying to talk to her husband to be like, we need to take Miss Threadgoode in. I want her to live with us. She's going to be the new person that I take care of. Like, our son's grown up. Now it's my turn to take care of this lady. Like, she's been the best friend I've ever had. And so she runs and goes and gets Miss Threadgoode because she's like, oh, no. Your house is demolished, so it's not there. So I'm going to pick you up. So then she goes and picks her up and she takes her to Ruth's grave and they see a note that's from Idgie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the book, it's a little bit different. I thought it was so weird first. I'm going to chime in on that. In the movie, how she's like telling her husband, this woman that she's like just got to know this year, she's like, we're going to have her come live with us. And he's like, no. And she's like, absolutely we are. And she's like pissed off that he's saying no. And I'm like, that's not a weird thing for him to say no to. You won't even have his own mom live with you.
Yep.
Or I guess aunt in the movie.
Shouldn't you respect those boundaries? Like, I thought it was insane too. I was like, hold the fuck up. Why? Like, I get it. It's an old person. So in your head, you're automatically like, they're fine. But let me tell you, you should look up Dorothy Puentes. I think that's her name. She's like one of the most notorious serial killers. And she was fucking 80 when she was doing it. So
that's wild. Oh, gosh.
So,
oh, my goodness.
They're not all innocent, lady. Don't be inviting someone into your house you don't know.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, sure. Plus, here's the thing, too. She's been sitting here telling her all these stories, so she feels like she really knows this lady. She's been telling stories of other people.
Oh, my
God.
gosh.
Nothing about herself.
Goodness me. All right. Well, Evelyn ended up coming home. She saw Mrs. Hartman because in the book, Miss Threadgoode's dead, right? So she shares stories about Evelyn and everything. And Mrs. Threadgoode, Miss Hartman shared stories to Evelyn about Mrs. Threadgoode. And she died peacefully in her sleep. And she had like this box. She left Evelyn like everything, which wasn't a lot, but she left her like everything. And all of these memories come flooding back as she's looking through all this box of all these little things. And then we get a little flashback with the weekly, and they said that they're moving, and the weekly newsletter is over. And then we're at the nursing home, and Evelyn went through and visited Mrs. Threadgoode's grave, and she sat there and talked to her forever about what's been happening, and all the other graves too. She saw there were people in the stories, and eventually it was time to leave, and she passed by Ruth's grave one more time, and she noticed something was recently put there because it wasn't there when she first got there, and it was a letter to Ruth from the beekeeper. And she looked all around but couldn't see her anywhere. And the newspaper is saying that one of the residents of the nursing home went missing. And that was the resident that Miss Threadgoode was talking about, who regularly I think it was the rude old lady that went missing or something like that. But then she was found. Mm-hmm. And we get fast forward, and there's this little girl, and her parents went to Birmingham, wherever they went. And there was this little cafe. And they got talking, and the catfish story that Tall Tale that, what's her name? Idgie always told.
Idgie.
Was shared. And she gave this little girl free honey. So Idgie is living her life as a little, from my understanding, as a little cafe girl in Brigham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I picked up too.
It was cute.
Because, essentially in the movie, or not in the movie, in the book, I felt like Idgie had to basically not be herself anymore and be on the run.
Right.
Whereas in the movie, that was not the case.
Oh, now you're okay. Firework, boom. But that's it. We did it. Done.
We did.
Check.
We are done. Last episode of season 8.
What? We have IMDb reported the casting. What did I say I was going to start saying?
Credited.
Okay. IMDb credited 57 people for this movie. Kathy Bates was our main girl. Evelyn Couch.
It was so weird seeing her in a role like this. That felt very like, she's usually such a strong female character. So to see her play someone that was so like, I don't want to say weak because she isn't like fully weak, but someone who was just like not the strong person I'm used to her seeing. I was not a huge fan, but also you can't go wrong with her too, right? Like when she's turning the new leaf.
Right.
Yelling at things, running into cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mary Stuart Masterson played Idgie.
I love her. She's my Benny and June girl. I love seeing her things because I didn't realize she was in things.
Yeah. Mary Louise Parker played Ruth.
Funny enough, I just watched The Institute with John, which is something that we are going to cover. And she plays the main bad guy. So the whole time I sat there, I was like, you're giving me a gross feeling. And then I looked her up and I was like, that's why.
That's funny.
But she did good.
She did. She was. Jessica Tandy played Ninny Threadgoode. She was a good
She
old
was
lady.
sweet.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is? Sipsy?
The one who takes care of her, but she's so little in the movie that I'm like, I think Big George.
Okay. Stan Shaw plays Big George.
I loved him. He was so sweet.
Mm-hmm. I liked him too. Anyone else we really need? Oh, probably Frank Bennett, huh?
Yep.
We have Nick Cersei played Frank Bennett.
Cersei.
Cersei.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
What's funny is I know him now that I see old him, but I didn't recognize him when he was young him, and I watched the movie.
Let me make sure I matched it right. I think that's him. I don't know why I wouldn't have matched it right. Yep.
No, I'm pretty positive that is him. Like
That's
looking
him.
at it, I see young him now,
Yeah.
but when I watched the movie, I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
He did good. He was a good asshole.
He was a really good bad guy. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all I got.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is the theme of the book and movie the same?
Yeah, I'd
Yeah, I
say
think
so.
Telling stories, young folk
Mhm.
from old
Yeah.
folk. Do the characters stay true?
What's funny is in recording this episode, I realized no, they do not.
Who doesn't stay true?
Well, I guess that is stay true. What am I trying? Their stories are not all the
stories
same.
aren't the
That's
same.
the problem.
But their
Yeah.
like their mannerisms and acting and
Yeah.
behaviors, I would
Are.
say, are the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I guess that's fine.
And what do you prefer? Look at the light. Look at the light.
Yeah, shoot. Except for what's funny is when I do it's right there.
That's the worst.
God dang it. Oh, I'm just gonna do this. Hey guys.
He's got to sneeze.
Gosh, I do, and it's just not coming. Anyway, I prefer the movie.
Yeah, I think I do too. Though, talking about it, it was kind of a hard choice because I did enjoy the book. It's just
Yeah.
Stop talking. It was just some parts just drug on and on and on. But I love the weekly and some of the backstories that they didn't have in the movie. But overall, didn't like how racist it was. And
Yeah.
I think
What's funny,
yeah.
I think I'm in the same boat as you. For me, I liked how chronological it was. So
Mhm.
you weren't jumping around all over the place. But there were a lot of backstories that I was like, oh man, I wish that was in
Yeah.
there. Oh, that would have been good to see. Like this enhanced the story, didn't deter from it.
Right. So that's kind of how.
So
that's
why
where-
didn't the author put it in her own damn movie?
right? But yeah, so yeah, I
Without
would say
bone to pick.
movie too.
Yep, I agree.
Cool. Would you recommend it to a friend?
Yeah, I would.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not sure I would recommend the book to a friend, but the
Mhm.
movie, yeah, it's a good background movie.
Yeah, I think that's really how I was watching it as a background movie. So I feel like I need to go back and like focus watch it.
Rewatch
Which
it.
I noticed this season I had a lot going on. So I did a lot of background watching of some of these movies.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
next season I'm not doing that at all because I realize that's not helpful for our podcast.
You go back and listen and you're like, oh.
Whoops. I couldn't talk about that because I didn't remember it. So to be fair, I watched this one like a month ago too. So it was not
Yeah.
probably even longer than
That's-
that actually.
I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like I
Longer.
couldn't
Yeah.
help you with the book.
Right. This was like
Because
one of
I
the
read
first
it.
ones you read. Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm
just
done.
because I physically read this one and I had it from the library and it was one that ended up being overdue and I was like, I'm not turning it in until I finish.
Right.
So
That's
Yeah.
funny. Oh well. We did it.
we did. We're
Okay.
here.
Yay.
We're gonna do better next season.
Way better next
Season 9 is where we'll figure our shit out,
We
guys.
say that every season.
Will we figure our shit out? No.
That's why we're professionals, people. Oh, Lordy. All right. Well, we do have a website for you. And it's I don't think I said if I would recommend it first, actually.
You did not.
I don't know. I think that's why I was going with that. I need to rewatch it to know if I would recommend it because it was more background. I don't know. The book was, I think it was enjoyable. It was just, you got to be committed.
Yeah, you do. You really do. Especially like if you are someone who can follow a jump around book, do it. Go for it. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're someone who gets confused or doesn't like that kind of story, don't do it.
Right. Yep. All right. Now our sneak peek. We have a website, which is offscript253.wixsite.com/offscript.
While you are there, you can give us a nice rating, or you could, hit that subscribe button because that helps us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Or the best thing you can do for us, you can give us some reviews.
Yes, for sure. This week, if you're up for it, are you up for another recording?
Yeah, I should be fine.
Recap?
I think recap's going to be a super quick one.
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe an hour, so it'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay. This week, our minisodes are recap.
Heck yeah. We're at the end.
Yes.
We're recapping it. We're going to be giving you a hugers. Oh my God.
Hugers.
Am I up for it, Allie? A bigger sneak peek of season 9 than what we already gave you today.
Yes. Oh, Lordy. That's funny. And so that's what's coming out. And then we got nothing for you on Monday because we're doing our break.
It's a break.
Yes.
Enjoy that summer break, guys. And we'll be back come August.
It's going to be quicker than we think.
It really is.
Yep. Just like that. But with that, I will say that fried green tomatoes
went off script.
Bye.
Bye.
We did it.
Beautiful.
Thanks for sticking with us.
We hope you enjoyed it.
If you did, we would greatly appreciate it if you gave us 5 beautiful stars, reviewed, and subscribed.
You can also follow us on Facebook at Offscript, on Instagram at Offscript Podcast 21, and on TikTok at Offscript_pod.
Shout outs to Madame Ashen Creations for our adorable logo art.
And Adam Daniel for our incredible theme song.
And to Creative Cinephile Productions for producing our podcast. See you next time.
Hi, I'm Serena.
And I'm Rachel.
We're the hosts of Book Tales.
If you like reading books
Drinking cocktails,
and Scottish accents,
then meet your new favourite podcast.
come with us as we explore different themes from romantasy to horror and everything in between.
We pair each book with a bespoke cocktail and tell you everything you'll need to make one.
And each week play our fun game tailored to each book.
Find Book Tales wherever you get your podcasts. So grab your book,
Grab your booze
for Book Tales.